regarding our dental and our vision invoices. It's been a little difficult to get that in place. And, it's all about communication, isn't it? And so we finally had a really good conversation about how we needed it done, what they had been doing, why it was causing poor payroll issues at paying the actual invoices. I think we have that worked out. The standard has a plan in place, and because we do pay our bills, so it causes a little angst when Teresa has the money and she's ready to pay it, and it's not matching up. So once again, all about communication, and it was a great conversation. So I'm hopeful for that. I am not fighting any unemployment claims at the present time. Oh. I'm shocked, but that's a really good thing. It's a good thing. And recruitment. Sunny Meadows is still searching for a housekeeper, part-time during the day. The maintenance officer, the full-time one, is posted. And let me give you a little background. We posted it. We have had quite a few resumes come through. Some are very encouraging. And so Larry and the three department heads have all been getting them. Larry has been going through them as they've been coming in. He and I discussed on Friday kind of our game plan. And so probably next week, because at the end of this week, that's when that posting ends. And we will be able to take a look to see, all right, yeah, these are our top picks. These are the ones that we would like to interview. And we will also have whichever department head or heads want to be involved in that, because they're going to have to work very closely with this employee. So we want to make sure that personalities are good, in addition to the experience and the background that this person has. So I'm encouraged about that position. Residential officer, they have probably 2 positions out there at Community Corrections that they are looking for. So we've redone that posting, and it's out and about. We also have lost the coordinator for the Change Academy, and the last day will be the end of this week. So we have posted that, or we will be posting that, I should say, and working on that position. You'll want somebody who has, it would be nice, a little bit of educational background, a little bit of criminal justice. That is such a unique little department or, spot out there. So I presented Michelle because she hasn't had to recruit for that position since she came on board. So the recruiting posting that we had last time gave it to her. What would you like to emphasize? What would you like to de-emphasize on that? And let's get it out there and see who we can find.
Is that George's position?
I'm sorry?
Is that George's position?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, sir.
A little surprised.
He has a great opportunity elsewhere, and so that's So he's moving on. The highway department, of course, needs CDL drivers, and Ben is out this week. So we'll probably regroup next week. Remember, I talked about that banner that we would kind of like to, I have the money in my budget for that sort of recruiting. And maybe, but our position out there, our location on 6 is going to be, it's a lot more traffic out there. So if we put a banner out there, and I think maybe that might draw, hey, I am grasping at straws, people. CDL drivers, they are at a premium. And hey, you've got an awful lot of truckers driving 6.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for. So anyway, and confinement officers, we were asked to take that posting down. They have several people in the pipeline that they are, and it takes a while. Their pipeline is a little longer than some of our others. So they're working on that. But other than that, actively recruiting, those are the ones. And let's see, I don't believe we have any onboardings this week. And so, in addition to just our, all these big projects, we have the day-to-day employees whose spouse has lost their position, and hey, how do we put them on my health plan, and all of these things that we need to do. So we have had a lot of those last week. So anyway, that's what I have on my agenda. So yeah, we definitely have time. So unless there's something else.
Anything else for Dottie? Okay, then we will jump over into the holiday discussion. And I'm going to go off a script a little bit here, and I'm prepared to make a motion, and then we will ask for a second and then have a discussion. So my motion is going to be...
Point of order, Bill. We already have a motion and a second on the floor on this issue that has to be dealt with before you can make another motion.
Okay, I've entertained a motion to withdraw that motion.
Which motion did we have?
We have a motion to restore Martin Luther King holiday in the schedule as it was originally presented,
Oh, okay.
which I made and you seconded. That's been tabled
Yeah.
for a couple of weeks, so that's got to be resolved.
I'd like to hear what you have, so I won't continue that discussion, I guess.
We'd have to withdraw that original
That's what-
motion and then have a discussion and then go from there. Do I have a motion to withdraw?
I'll move to withdraw.
Second?
Well, you can't move to withdraw my motion.
Okay, then you can. I think you're
So
gonna like what he has to say,
Well,
so.
for the sake of discussion, I will withdraw my motion of 3 weeks ago.
Okay, go ahead.
Second?
Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I will make my motion. My motion is to grant 11 federal holidays. In addition to the 11 federal holidays, that we grant 2 optional holidays to be decided by the employee through a, what do you call it? Survey? So I'd make a total of 13. 2 of them optional, and plus the 11 federal.
And they have to take the 11 federal period, right?
Yeah, that's set. That'd be set in stone. The 2 optional would probably be the choice between the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Fair Day. That's the
New
3
Year.
that we've discussed so far.
Or New Year's Eve, or whatever, New Year's Eve, like
The New
they,
Year's Eve isn't on the table. It wasn't. It was never granted.
well, no, but what I'm saying is, don't we currently pay New Year's Eve as well?
No.
No,
No,
we don't.
No,
Okay, it
we
was
do
just
not.
Christmas Eve.
yeah. So
Okay, Christmas Eve, I'm sorry.
Christmas Eve.
Okay,
I thought we did too.
yeah, I thought we did. Okay, it was Christmas Eve.
So that's my motion. Discussion?
Well, I would be in favor of
Are you
this.
seconding that?
Well, no, he asked for discuss, oh, yeah, we
You've
got
got to have a second before you can
Yeah,
discuss.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm second.
Now we're on track.
Now, as far as the discussion, I think it's important, because what I did hear from the judges and others, that the federal holidays, there's little work to do and they have to coordinate together, so it makes sense that they should just all shut down on those days, including Columbus Day. And, I've been once again called a racist for the MLK comments by certain mayors that didn't win the election last year, spread my name over, and they didn't obviously listen to our conversation here about why we were wanting to do this. So I think it's important that we make it mandatory that they have to take them so we don't get labeled for things we're not. So I am in favor of that. Now, how would we handle the selection of the 2 additional? Would we allow the departments decide? I would think the courthouse would have to be lockstep together with theirs since we'd want to shut down the building, obviously, for that day. Seems counterproductive to not have one department open or 2.
Well, I think if you're going to have 3 holidays as a possibility, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, Jack could put together a doodle poll, which would be anonymous. You take the 2 out of 3 top vote getters, and that's what you got.
Is there any
That's pretty
advantage,
easy.
though, to let's say, Central Communications or Highway Department have different ones that might serve their employees better, is what I'm saying? Or is that are we getting too complex
What
there?
does that do to
Susan,
payroll?
does that
I
get
was
too
going to say
complex?
payrolls could be a situation.
Did you hear what I said?
No.
That's what I thought. What would happen if we let the departments decide what bonus holidays they wanted of the 2 holidays they get to pick? Would that cause a problem? Let's say if Central Communications said, hey, we would rather have the day after Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve, because Fair Day we're busy anyway. Or during Fair Week, we have to be on our toes anyway. I'm just saying if everyone chooses, is there any benefit to letting the departments choose?
Each department choose their own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think the courthouse would have to be
Well-
lockstep together.
Right.
It'd have to be.
Yeah.
It'd have to
I
be.
say it, as long as I know what they're wanting. I mean, I don't want them switching like every year. Mm-hmm. I would prefer them to choose that this is what they're going to do. But I'm not sure on, those of us that are here, the courthouse is either open or it's not open, so.
Yeah.
If some are wanting to be open, then you're gonna be paying for security and stuff for like,
Well, I think this courthouse needs to shut down. I mean, like I said, there's no sense having 1 or 2 open.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's equitable to say all the departments in the courthouse have to be the same, but all the other departments outside the courthouse get to.
Well,
Get to
they
pick.
all integrate and work together is what I hear.
Well, yeah.
One
Well,
can't
yeah,
do their job, the
yeah.
other can't do their job, a lot of times. And they're all pretty much locked into this federal holiday schedule. The courts are, the probation, so it just makes sense. Why have security running and why have this building open if it's just maybe one department? It just
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
make
no,
any
that
sense.
doesn't make any sense.
And that's what it'd probably be.
so the federal holidays are New Year's Day, MLK, Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day.
Yep.
So those are the 11 federal
Those are
that you're
11
talking
federal
about.
holidays, exactly.
Okay.
Plus 2.
I'm just making sure because
But those-
Juneteenth was not a thing, so.
No, like I said, we're
make
not going
sure
to be
we're-
accused of anything. We're just going to take those days off, just like the feds do. And
You have an idea?
Dottie?
Okay, so historically, Columbus Day has been honored on the last, basically, Friday of the fair. And would we continue to switch that, or we would go with actually the October?
they take it off.
Yes, okay. I mean, that makes sense, makes sense to me, mainly because that's when the Fed is closed, that's when the mail service, once again, we go back to the productivity of many of our departments that are dependent upon those 2 federal services. So,
And what I was saying,
just-
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. And why is one holiday more important than the other? If they're all federal holidays, why are we allowing this one to be celebrated over here, but this one has to be that day?
Right,
We
yes.
can't ever work on MLK Day, but we can work on Columbus Day, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Well, why is that? Well, let's just be across the board and say they're all important.
Yeah.
So,
The one thing about the given department's choice, the 24/7 departments don't have much of a choice.
Right.
They still got to man that
They
department.
still got to man it anyway.
Really, the highway department's probably the only one that's very greatly affected by having that choice.
Well, let's just take a poll then, like Mike said, let's do a Zoom poll or whatever, and let's say majority rules.
I think that's
That's fine.
the fairest way. Okay.
Okay, so would we want, because I can certainly coordinate that with the IS department, the top 3 holidays, or do you want 5 on that list? What you want, would you want the day after Thanksgiving?
We don't care.
And, okay.
don't
Well,
care,
I
do
would
we?
suppose it's probably better to put a list, check,
Yes.
check 2,
Well, you
and
can't
then
do
maybe
it.
have an other.
You can't do a doodle poll without having,
Yeah, we need,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
those are our
well,
selections.
Bill had mentioned 3. I don't know if you want to add to that or not.
I don't know what they might be. I mean, those 3 would be, in my mind, the top. That's what we've done
Okay.
to some extent historically. And I don't know what other 3 would there be that we might want to put on there. I can't think of another optional
Happy
holiday.
Thanksgiving, Fair
So which ones
Friday.
do you have? Which
Fair-
3 did you list?
Fair Day, the day after Thanksgiving, and Christmas Eve.
What about Good Friday?
Oh, yeah, we're doing Good Friday now.
Yeah, Good
Yeah,
Friday.
so you could throw that one in.
Yeah, you
as
can
a
throw Good
fourth.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yep,
Good
The
Friday
top-
in there.
that's 4.
Top 2 vote getters.
Okay,
2 out of 4? Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Yes, I will, I'll run with that, if that's
Okay.
what you guys want. Yep.
We got a couple more minutes. Any comments from the public?
I do appreciate revisiting that and giving it some additional thought and conversation.
Lead Honorary Recorder, I'd like to mention that Christmas Eve is not always going to be, because if it falls on a Saturday or Sunday, so then you're left with that. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Well, of course, our rule is if a holiday lands on a Saturday, we take the Friday off prior.
Yeah.
If it lands on a Sunday, we take that Monday off. So just be aware of, there might be another Monday that we will,
Well, and I'm with Susan here, a part of this is you can't change it every year. Pick and we're done, because then we'll start picking, well, wait, Christmas Eve falls on a Saturday. I want to do Christmas Eve this year, you know what I'm saying? So
I don't think there's anything wrong with locking it in.
I think we need to lock it in.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries unanimously. One little comment I would like to make. Comment was made, we got bigger fish to fry. And, you know, in my mind, every fish is important. I like my fish fried well done. And that's why I was willing, Mike, to revisit the issue along with Todd. And that's what we do, though. We fry our fish till they're well done, and we get a good decision, and we try. We don't leave any stone unturned or any comment, hopefully, ignored. So anyway, thanks, everyone. We're glad to have that behind us. Okay. We got just a few minutes to the public hearing. Claims. Have any claims?
Move to approve the claims if we have some.
Leanne sent out
She sent them last week.
yes, because she is on vacation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I say she sent them early.
She sent them
Yes.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
She sent them early.
Yeah, we did that.
Yes.
Move to approve claims. Or Mike moved to approve claims. I'll second, I'm sorry.
Motion second, approve claims. Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Claims are approved. Minutes.
Move to
Chance.
approve minutes.
Second.
Motion and second to approve minutes. Any comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, the same. Motion carries.
I'll move to approve ordinance 2023-R-16 on second and third reading.
That was the
I
no
don't know if I
trespassing.
want to second that.
That's,
I'll second.
God,
Susan's like, we're going to
gonna
rewrite
come
this.
across there.
by title only, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ordinance 2023-R-16, DeKalb County Code, Section 4-1-10. DeKalb County Commissioners, an ordinance providing for a procedure for county office to be able to issue a no trespass order.
You want a new motion? Are we good?
We're good. You
We're good.
just need to say yes.
All right, any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. Motion carries. Second and third reading. I have a couple miscellaneous. Anybody else got any miscellaneous we can do in 2 minutes?
I've got a couple, but I don't think we can do 2 minutes.
Okay. Andrew, anything? 2 minutes?
I don't know that I have any. Yeah, I don't believe I have anything that has to be discussed today.
Okay, Susan? You're down to 1 minute.
Yeah, nothing in that amount of time.
Okay, okay. I do have a property at some point, and I want to have you look up
Okay.
property number. It's in Corona, it's 25-05-04-172-011.
Okay.
At some point.
I can do that.
Okay. Just a little heads up, this is a property that's dilapidated in Corona, right next to the bridge. Corona would like to have that property. They've got a person that'll clean it up for them. It's the old tavern.
Oh, yeah, Sandy's mentioned that a couple of times. Yeah,
Yeah, see what we can do with that.
they'll make a little progress and then go backwards
Yeah.
in steps, yeah.
So anyway, we can get into that later.
Yeah, there's a few in Butler I'd like to look up too. That
Yeah, this is falling down, literally falling down, and it's just really bad.
Okay.
Okay, we're at 9 o'clock, so we can open the public hearing of the Christopher Harrison Commonwealth Engineers, 574-377-4563, RE St. Joe Spencerville Ochre Sewer Grant. Good morning.
Good morning. So first of all, we need a motion to start the meeting.
Well, he paused and opened.
We're paused.
All we have to do is open the public hearing. Which
So,
Bill
again,
just
my
did.
name's Chris Harrison. I'm the business development manager for. Today, we're here to talk about the St. Joe Spencerville Regional Sewer District and the needs of the district.
Is your mic on?
And the needs of the district of replacing their wastewater treatment plant. With us today is Board President Lauren Johnson, Robin McCain, and Todd Sadison, who is the wastewater operator. Robin is also the clerk treasurer. I'd like to turn this over to Mike Kleinpeter to talk about the Okra funding.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Kleinpeter, Kleinpeter Consulting Group. Notice for this public hearing was posted in the Star on September 12th. This is our first public hearing to discuss the county's grant application to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. The county will be the lead applicant for this grant and is applying on behalf of the St. Joe Spencerville Sewer District. We are applying specifically for a wastewater grant in the amount of $700,000 and will be contributing $2,895,000 in matching funds. These matching funds will consist of an SRF loan of $2,829,000 from the St. Joe Spencerville Regional Sewer District and $66,000 of wastewater operating funds. That's slightly different than the newspaper ad that we advertised. Ochre came out with a chart that bumped us up from $650,000 grant money to $700,000. So that's why there's a slight change in that. So I want to make the public aware of that. We have a proposal due on October 20th. We want to make sure that citizens are informed and have the opportunity to ask any questions or support for the project. Funds available through Okra are limited. Okra takes all the applications in. We don't know how many we're competing against, and they score them. And they rank them highest to lowest, and they just start funding until they run out of funds. You need to be over 450 to be eligible for funding. We've ran a sample score sheet and believe we will reach 450. The question is, will we be high enough to receive funding or not? If the county is successful at their application, award announcements will be in mid-February. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ben Adams to tell you a little bit about the project.
Morning, guys. Ben Adams, Commonwealth Engineers. We've talked before, and again, the project is primarily to replace failing treatment units at their existing treatment facility. They have aging steel tanks that are corroding. Most of the equipment's nearing the end of its useful life. So again, the idea is we'll come in there, tear out what's there now and replace with new treatment units. They're actually going to be constructed in concrete tanks to increase longevity. So, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry project, quite frankly. It's all at the existing plant site, so there's no work that'll be done off-site. And again, this grant is extremely important to the constituents of the RSD. They just had a rate increase that they just put into effect a month or two ago to raise up rates. They now are at $55 a month, but again, every penny helps. And again, this is a big project for them, you know, one of the biggest ones they've done since the RSD was originally created. So again, we're hopeful that we can score well enough to receive the Okra funding. And again, we're going to try to pair that with a loan from the state revolving. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Who would be liable for the loan?
It would be the RSD.
RST would, okay.
Yeah,
We're
and-
just the lead on the grant, but,
That's correct.
Okay.
And again, Mike could probably answer better, but again, the grant dollars will just have to flow through you. Assuming the grant's awarded, the county will need to sign an agreement with the RSD. It's what's called a sub-recipient agreement. So it's pretty straightforward.
55 a month, they're just flat rate based, they don't have measured use?
Flat rate based. They do charge 3 large industrial customers different rates. But yeah, generally speaking, it's a flat rate system across the board. And there was something I was meaning to say about the rate, but I can't think of what it is.
That's okay.
But yeah,
Just
yeah.
curious.
The process would be about the same as what you guys do for DART,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's the same thing as DART.
Just- yeah.
We're the lead and the
just as an
sign an
example.
agreement that we hand over the money if we get it, right?
Yeah, and I did remember what I meant to say about the rate. They did just raise the rates, and primarily, you know, the rate increase, and this has happened to a lot of municipalities or other, you know, governmental entities. The cost of doing business has just increased the past couple of years significantly, you know, for labor, parts, materials, and quite frankly, I think the rate increase just did was get them back in black. That's where we're at.
Is there anything that you folks need that would help the grant scores, letters of support, or anything that we might be able to help facilitate?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Watson. Letters of support will be needed from residents and constituents that are in the sewer district on how they would be impacted, how they are impacted if the plant were to fail, what would happen. In addition, we'll be doing a SurveyMonkey survey. It'll be real simple. There's a question on the score sheet that said, did you do a residential survey? Yes, we get full points. So we need to make sure to do that. So that'll be coming out as well. All that stuff will be included in the final application due December 22nd. We've got this proposal due October 20th, which is really a first draft. And then Okra will come out, meet with Mr. Hartman. You guys are welcome to attend as well and go through the score sheet and the requirements. I'm going to meet with the attorney after the meeting. There is some paperwork you got to sign and just go through it. It's all pretty standard stuff. So that's kind of the process.
What is the plan if the grant doesn't come through? Is there an alternate plan or a plan B?
Plan B? I was just
So I'll
gonna ask
take it
that.
first and then let you go. So on these Okra grants, once you apply, we do not charge application fees. So we're in it with the client to get funded. And so if they so choose, they could wait until the next round, which is in June. So if we do not get funded in February, Okra would come out in March and go through the score sheet and say, here's where you lost points. We'll then evaluate if we think we can get additional points or whether it's worth coming back in the June round. The only additional cost from the standpoint of this regional sewer district is really 2 newspaper ads for public hearing ads. Unless you don't have time and you need to move quicker. So.
That is a good question, Bill. One thing they could do, assuming they weren't, assuming the county didn't receive the grant funding, they could go after a full loan from SRF. That is obviously the least palatable thing to do. Conversely, assuming we scored well enough, we might go in for a round 1 grant in 2024 fiscal year. But we would also conceivably wait till June or July 1st and see if the community scored better on the SRF's project priority list. So, assuming they would move up in the scoring rankings and other projects would fall off because being completed this year, there may be some opportunity from grant funds through the SRF folks. But again, this seems like the most logical path.
Does any of that qualify for IFA?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
I do.
Yes.
And it's only on logistics. I had Nellie had wanted to know if we could change the award project, which was originally slated for October 23rd. They wanted to know if we could change it to October 30th instead.
Who wanted that change?
Nellie with soil and water.
Why? I mean, it's just a day, right?
She said it has to do with the funding announcement for the other grant she applied for.
Oh, the Ware grant? No, that's already done.
I don't know.
Is that a problem with you?
Do you have any open Okra grants at the current time?
Not that I
We're the
know
lead
of.
on, I don't think.
So there's no issue with Okra then?
I don't have a problem with that if it's changing the day, a day.
I'm not aware of anything soil and water has it's Okra, everything's DNR, I believe.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So it's not going to hurt you guys if it goes to the 30th instead of the 23rd, or you're wanting it to stay at the 23rd? The original, maybe I'm getting them all confused. Could be possible. No, ignore me. This is the layer grant. This is something else. I've got them all.
I couldn't quite figure out.
Together. I was like,
how
well,
those
wait
two
a
got
minute.
connected.
Okay,
Okay,
never mind.
Okay.
So we will submit that proposal October 20th, and then we will have a second public hearing prior to our application on December 22nd. So probably sometime November, December, depending on when Okra comes out and meets with us.
Okay,
I'll coordinate with Miss Susan about that, though.
perfect.
Great.
Does anybody else want to speak? Okay, well, we appreciate your assistance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
what do you think, gentlemen?
Do we need a motion to go ahead and?
Yeah. Yes. Need a motion.
I think we already voted on that, I believe, didn't we?
We voted,
To be the lead.
I don't know that we voted.
Yeah, let me look. I think we did because I had to get approval for him to,
To apply,
To apply.
I believe.
Which is what we're
Or
doing.
maybe that.
That's what,
Okay, I
that's
guess
what they're
same
doing.
thing. So we're okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
sure.
I'll let you know before the end of the meeting.
Okay, on May 8th, there was a vote taken at a county commissioners meeting, and they approved having the county act as a funnel for Oak Run.
Okay.
Okay, that'd do it. That would do it. So that's a wrap on that. Okay,
For now.
now what?
So do we need to back up and?
Okay,
Just
so
close the public
Just
hearing.
close
Close
the
the
public
public hearing
Yeah.
and reconvene our regular commissioners meeting. Okay, well, we can go to miscellaneous topics. What you got, Mike?
I got a call from Jesse Zaire, who's I think the bishop for the Amish community. And last year, excuse me, last year when we were doing the license plate distribution, he volunteered his home if we wanted to do an on-site registration drive, which would have, then eliminate everybody have to come in individually
Right,
to Susan's office to get that done. He just called me to say, just want to remind you of that. We need to start figuring out the logistics and get some dates and so forth so that we're ready to go, so he can put that together.
yeah. And those are due by December 30, end of the
Yeah, they
year, is that
expire
right?
the 31st, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So,
How
they
does
can,
that work?
they
that-
can start in October, renewing them for the following year is what we had originally said.
Right.
So as it stands now, if it's a renewal, they can mail it into us. And then we will mail them back their little year sticker. If it's brand new plate, then I've asked that they come in because I don't want to be mailing plates out.
yeah.
But I mean,
Does
I can make
he-
anything work.
From his house, does he gather a bunch of plates then and take them with him? Does he take the
No,
stickers?
I would have to
Send somebody
go.
from the auditor's office out.
Oh,
No,
someone,
I would have to go to the home and be there for
okay,
a
that's
certain
what I
amount of
thought.
time.
Yeah, I would think so because,
Yeah, no, it wouldn't leave my hands.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about theft per se, but just miscommunication, loss, you know what I'm
Now you
saying?
got paper.
I'm
only-
I'm
records.
worried about it for my auditing
That's what I'm
part.
saying. It needs to
Yeah.
be properly accounted
Yeah.
for, so.
Yeah. I guess my thought was if you can do it all in 1
Oh, yeah.
hour and a half or 2 hour session and eliminate the traffic in and out, it might be advantageous to you, or
Yep.
maybe you don't think so, but
No, I think it's
No, I
a
think it would.
good idea. Do you have time to do that?
I will make time to do it.
Yeah.
all right,
As long as
well,
you have the resources, I don't,
I'd suggest maybe you pick a couple of dates that you think are good, were good, and let me know, and I'll call Mr. Zara back, and we'll get things lined up.
Okay,
perfect.
will do.
Okay. The other thing he called me about, or mentioned it while I was on the phone, was they want to do their sunset ride again on Friday, and it's they did that last year on the fresh microsurfaced.
Yeah,
So he's checking ahead this year. I don't think there's any permitting process for that, but he wanted to just let us know that they wanted to do that. He thought there might be a dozen buggies and a few not on horseback.
I don't have a problem with
And that
that.
they do a fundraiser dinner ahead of that. And then they go from Allen County, make a loop and go back
go back.
to Allen County
What's the date?
this Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah, yeah. He invited us all out for dinner too.
Has he contacted,
I told him
Highway?
to get a hold of Ben.
okay. 'cause
Of
he's
course,
off.
Ben's gone this week, so I better give Mark a heads up
Yeah,
that they might be calling.
yeah,
But their fundraising this year is for a young Amish family. The husband's got cancer, I think stage 4 or something. They got 4 or 5 kids, so,
That's horrible.
you know, that's that community really takes care of their own.
Oh, yeah.
It's, they do a lot of
I
really good
have
stuff.
no problem with that at
Okay,
all.
very good.
Bill, I'm good with it.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, 1 second.
They paid their fee,
Oh, you want us all to sign it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
paid their fee, they're entitled, in my opinion.
okay. You just wanted to be upfront?
No, I appreciate them. They've been proactive since we had the first little incident, so it's nice that, I think we're communicating well, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Zares
we need
very
a
good at
motion
getting
on that?
information back and forth.
Sorry?
Let's do a motion on that.
To allow the Friday event?
Yeah. Let's
Okay, I'd
do
make a motion, we allow the Amish to have their fundraising event on horseback and buggies.
Sunset Ride.
The
Covered,
Sunset Ride, yeah.
I'll second.
covered bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
covered bridge. yeah.
A second?
Yeah.
Motion and second? Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, anything else, Mike?
That is all I had today, gentlemen.
Todd?
I'd really like to get serious about talking about, start having discussions about a county manager position still. It is authorized by state law. There's a few counties that have one. They call it a county administrator. And it's IC 362214. I just think that a good administrator that was in tune with our departments daily, in tune with our buildings, knowing what they need, putting them on schedules, seeing performance of employees, reporting to us. Let's face it, someone calls to us with a concern. When's the last time we talked to that person or even saw them? You know, some of us are out there more than others, but still, we can't be around 237 employees. Or our job's to take the advice that we get from our department heads and from those and give them what they need, or say no, use our discernment, say, no, you don't need that, here's why. But if we had a county manager that was pulling it all together, I think it can save so much time and money, and wouldn't have to come to us too, hey, I need a new floor cleaning machine. Or the county manager. He knows, you know, give him a certain authority. I just see all sorts of efficiencies going by one person that someone comes to. Another thing too is, you know, there's gonna be people that wanna come to me, they like me, or they wanna come to Mike because they like Mike, or they wanna come to Bill because they like him. It really shouldn't be who we like or what we think we can get out of that person. It should be, you go to this person, and then they report to us. I would like to see a little more structure that way instead of, because I think sometimes too, it's the department heads that come to us, we give them more consideration if they're here every week. You know, we're more familiar with them, whereas if the county manager was there, he would know the familiarity. And I think it's something to have some good discussion on and move forward with it, not forget about it, because I have a feeling it'll be forgotten if we don't discuss it.
We need to get some clarification, probably from Andrew. I believe, depending on how you structure that, county manager, I believe, has to be done by the legislature.
Oh,
It's sort of like the unit.
for each individual county, it has to be approved, sort of like getting a new court?
Yeah,
It has to be approved?
it's
Okay.
like a town manager
Yeah.
position sort of thing. So I think that,
Some of the
now,
research into whatever the process would be for that, what the
Yeah.
criteria are, and,
now hiring an administrator or a county purchasing agent or
Yeah.
something like that, we can create that position
And they
ourselves.
could be the purchasing agent
Yeah,
too. What
yeah.
I'm saying is they could wear many hats.
Yeah,
But-
but I think I think that has to go through the legislature,
Okay.
I believe, to do that.
Well, it's IC 36-2-2-14. Andrew, if you
Okay,
wouldn't mind
yeah.
looking that up, and
yeah, I'll look into that, maybe even
let's
contact.
at least keep it on the radar is all
Yeah.
I'm asking, and, because I see efficiencies that could be made. Especially, you know, that person wouldn't be afraid to call me, whereas some department heads or even employees might be afraid to call me on a Sunday. I don't mind being called on a Sunday if it's important, but a county manager, I would tell them, hey, if you need me, my cell phone's on, call me, you know?
So what about, do you know one or two other counties that already have this?
Yeah, I forget which
Off the
county
top of
that I
your head?
looked up, but
Okay,
the guy.
I can figure it out.
Here, I'll look it up while you're,
Okay.
someone else talk for a little bit.
But no, that's okay. I mean, I can look it up too at time, but yep, I'll look into it and try to report back to you guys.
Check with Hamilton County, or I can email Mark.
Hamilton? Oh, yeah, with
Yeah, I
Carmel and,
Yeah, I
okay.
can email Mark Harebrant and ask him. But,
Montgomery County, Indiana has one.
Montgomery? All right. I'll start looking into it and dig into it and get that information for you guys.
of course, the other issue of that is,
It says the administrator holds office at the pleasure of the commissioners. The commissioners may assign to the administration any office, position, or duties under the commissioner's control, and the commissioners may withdraw any powers or duties by resolution.
Okay.
That's Tom Klein, who is the administrator of Monroe County, talking, but. if you-
Monroe?
Or not Monroe.
Montgomery? Is that what you
Montgomery,
said?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And,
and of course, at some point, we got to loop council in to see if
Oh,
they'll- if
absolutely.
they'll fund it.
no, absolutely. We're at the point of just beginning discussion,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
But I really see some efficiencies that could be had there. I really do.
Would that reduce, supposedly, I assume that would reduce the time requirement of the commissioners, or maybe meeting sequence?
Yeah. I think we
Every
could get a
other
lot
week.
more done possibly.
Would that maybe involve a pay cut for the commissioners?
Possibly. It's discussable. I mean, I'm open to any discussion that is more efficient for the county.
Yeah.
Currently, what we have, in my opinion, it's not efficient for someone needing some trinket to come to us every Monday, hey, I need $800 for this, or, okay, talk about bigger fish to fry. To run efficiently, you get someone in that knows what's going on, you give them certain authorization, the ability to do things, and then they come to us with general reports every week. This is the direction I think we ought to go with these departments, here's why, here's what's going on. It's just someone in the know that we can, the go-to person per se. Currently, we got too many chiefs and not enough Indians. You know what I'm saying? We need one chief.
Well, and therein lies where we got to make sure we don't run afoul of what the legislation is, because the
Oh, I know.
legislation is very clear about what commissioners have to do and
Right,
so on and so forth. So,
yeah. Anyway,
And I wonder what that interaction between that administrator and the elected department heads would look like.
yeah.
well, yeah, because what it says is departments under our control. Technically, they're not under our control, but I would think those departments would love an advocate for them and also someone to give them advice or help them and be the liaison between us and them. If they're that busy, tell the administrator what you need and he'll present to us. Stay down there working, Work with him weekly or her weekly, and that person could have just a real pulse on where we stand in every department. And to me, that is so important because I'll be the first to admit, I don't visit all these departments. Not feasible. Not on our schedule.
It can be done.
It can be done, but let's face it, on our salary, I want to do the best job I can,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to spend 60, 70 hours a week here. And that's, in my opinion, to do the job right, it's really going to be a 40, 50 hour a week
Oh,
job.
It is.
Minimum.
I spend every bit of that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I spend that. I spend 20 or 25 hours just emails, calling, meeting people, and I get very little done compared to what I think an administrator could do. Anyway, that's bloviating now, but,
Worthy of the discussion, for sure.
yeah.
Sure, never hurts to talk.
I think I'll reach out to council and tell them we're getting a little more serious about this, and maybe they can dig into how it's worked in other counties too, and see what they think funding would look like, and,
AIC is this week, so there'll be all 92 counties there. I bet we can get some information.
yeah, I bet you, yeah, and it'd be nice to talk to someone that has a county administrator and see how it's worked for them,
Yeah, that would be a have to.
and maybe it doesn't work well. I'm just,
Okay.
I think
Anything
it'd be a
else,
good idea
Tom?
to.
Well, the whole structure of county government is not exactly your most efficient model for,
Well, and that's what I'm trying to do is take away a little of the chaos.
Yeah.
There's so much uncertainty. Well, do I have authority there or does that person? Does this have, if we have one person to go to, not that that person has ultimate authority, we still got to prove it. But they know what they can do. They know what they can bring us. We get to know them well. And boom, they just go, go, go. And I just think it'd be very beneficial. Anyway,
That it?
yep, that's it.
Okay, I'll research that for you guys and come back with something.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that.
Susan, what have you got? You still,
It's always me. It's always, isn't it, Chris? It's always me.
I'm not giving it back to you. You'll take it.
I didn't steal it. I accidentally kept it.
he borrowed it.
Mens rea was not connected with
It was a
stealing.
mostly peaceful thievery.
Right? Okay. So let's talk about the October 30th commissioner meeting. So, Chris. I say, let
like-
Chris talk and then
God
I'll,
love her. I'm texting her during the meetings, being like, "Should I come?" And then she's like, "Just get over here." Okay, so the Sculpin Solar overlay request has been submitted, and it's ready for the Plan Commission public hearing on October 18th at 7 o'clock. So it would.
18th? October 18th?
Yep.
Okay.
That is correct, right? Wednesday?
Okay.
Thank you. And so then it would come to, it could possibly come to county commissioners. The earliest would be October 30th. You all have, it has to be certified to you within 10 days and then has to be heard by you within 90. So it gets certified that evening. It's a certificate you get on the first page of what I email to Susan. But you would have to hear it within 90. So that's the first available date. The earliest that I can get paperwork to Susan after the Plan Commission meeting would be October 30th. If that's the date you all would want to have your meeting for that overlay request.
and would you keep it a regular, normal meeting?
Yeah, that's the ultimate request, I guess, is
Like, are you gonna
the discussion's been.
keep it in the morning like a normal meeting, or are you wanting to move it to a night meeting?
Morning's fine with me.
Because we also will have, when I missed that, we also have the layer grant that she's asking if we can award that project that same day. So I've got two different things I'm trying to see, make sure I know what you guys are thinking.
So that's what Nellie's thing is. She wants to open the bids and.
Nellie
award the-
wants to, okay, you guys will open the bids on October 2nd.
Yeah.
And then you were originally going to award on the 23rd, but she's asking if we can award on the 30th instead of the 23rd.
Okay.
That should be no problem.
Right. Yeah, no, yeah, I just wanted to be clear,
So
that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with morning. On the-
I'm kind of
on the
leaning
30th.
towards an evening meeting on that. But, as you have a comment? Sure.
And hi, Sarah Massara. I know you all know me well. EDF Renewables, Sculpin Solar. Just a question, I think, maybe for Chris and then commissioners to consider. The Plan Commission meeting for Sculpin Solar's overlay application on the 18th. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the public hearing for the overlay, correct? And that meeting is at 7 p.m.? Okay. Just wanted to clarify that the public hearing with the Plan Commission will be in the evening at 7 p.m. But for the record, whatever you all want to do in terms of us coming before the commissioner, we'll do it. Name the day and time, we'll be there.
Are you saying that the hearing on October 30th, and I think that discussion's kind of been had through emails and stuff, that
Sure.
That particular meeting in front of the commissioners is not technically a public hearing, that the actual public hearing for public comment is the Plan Commission
That's
meeting?
my understanding, but again,
Correct.
correct me if I'm wrong.
So
is
what
correct,
goes
though.
to Chris at whatever board he's doing?
Plan
The
Commission.
Plan
Plan
Commission.
Commission. I was going to say
Department
BCA. I was
somewhere.
like, Plan
Plan
Commission,
Commission.
BCA. Okay, so a
50-50
Plan
chance.
Commission, then that is when it comes and it tells you guys whether they favorable or unfavorable, recommend or don't recommend. But all of the discussion already had taken place, if that helps.
Which, I mean, we can always take public comment.
Correct.
Yeah, you can take public
Correct.
comment.
It just
for
won't be
sure.
a public hearing
Right.
The only thing I would
advertised.
say on the 30th is I have a dentist appointment in the afternoon, and I may not be at my best in the evening.
Let's see how the drugs work on you.
Let's go with the majority.
Thank you.
Morning, is that,
It'd be fine. I think there's gonna be plenty of public comment at the hearing at PC, and we've written our ordinance. We know what the overlay is, we know what the UDO is.
okay.
That's a fight that there's probably gonna happen, so be it, but
Well,
I don't.
And just for clarification, this is only for the overlay request.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, just making sure that
I'm
you're.
just saying but you know what, the discussion will morph into, so it's.
Well,
But that's-
it won't be able to morph into that.
So,
So,
I mean, in a evening commissioner's court,
oh, right.
it would just be, we'd be rehashing the same things over, which I know both sides' opinion fully. And
Okay. We'll do it morning.
Okay.
So I'll just get in touch with Jody or Susan about the date and time, because I want to put that in the public hearing, and I'm going to be getting those to Sculpin this week. So I'll get with you on the date and time, or that day, and then timing for that. I'll just get.
What
with
do
them.
you want? What time do you want? 9?
That's fine.
9.
How long are you going to give? An hour, you
How
think?
long do you want?
I don't know. I mean, I think you should give yourselves plenty of time if there is people that want to give public comment, but that's
put you in
obviously
from
up to
9
you.
to 10.
That's fine. Then you can just
Okay.
look at that.
is that on the 30th?
Yes.
At 9 to 10 on the 30th?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Okay. What else, Susan? A lot of paperwork. laying
I
there.
know, I'm a hot mess today. Okay. So. Okay, Michelle from Community Corrections, she was not able to be here today, but I told her I would discuss with you guys. The Change Academy and Community Corrections, they're both applying for a grant from Drug Free DeKalb. They do this every year. One of them is for drug testing fee assistance, and then that's for Community Corrections. Then for Change Academy, yeah, for Change, they're doing some substance abuse education courses that will be presented by McMillan Health Center, and then also some drug testing, screening test fees for that as well. So she just needs to have your blessing to go ahead and apply for these grants from Drug Free.
I read it. And I make a motion to sign the grant.
I don't even think you have to sign it. I think you just need to allow her to submit it.
Okay, if I were to submit it. Permission.
Second?
A motion and second on the floor. Is there any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay.
Okay, so then, okay. You guys might have to help me with this one because I don't know where we're at with it. This is the NIPSCO agreement thing for the highway that was like sent in a DocuSign, then he printed it, then there was questions, and then I think you're supposed to get a DocuSign?
I did the DocuSign.
Okay, so do you want a formal motion that you agreed to it, or?
Did you already sign it, Bill? Is that, okay, that's our service agreement, and they didn't require a deposit or anything, I remember. It was just, did you read the agreement, Andrew?
That's the one for the highway department,
Yeah.
NIPSCO agreement? I
Yeah.
did, and I didn't have a problem with it, if I recall.
It was agreement for extension of facilities to supply electric service.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with it. I communicated back and forth with Ben once or twice, I
Yeah.
think, on it, and I'm okay with it.
And I talked to Ben about it.
And you signed it. You already signed it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Because they agreed. I know. So, I mean, is that something that we should have something,
But
say,
our
in the
county
minutes?
administrator already did.
That they,
Well,
I mean, you guys
it's-
already talked about it.
It's already,
Yeah.
I we discussed it at the last meeting a little
We
bit,
actually
didn't
agreed to allow them to do the survey. Remember, they were gonna hit us real high for a fee, and then we negotiated
There's
down.
no fee. Why don't you just, to clarify things for the State Board of Accounts or whoever would look at it later, you could just do a motion, a second, and then just approve
Okay.
it, it's simple.
So the motion would be to,
Approve the service agreement with NIPSCO
yeah.
for the no-fee connection.
So moved.
All right.
Motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries.
Then, you had asked me to write down on mine, weights and measures truck.
Weights and measures truck, yes. Talked to Pat, weights and measure. And he'd like a different system. They have a different system available now for metering gasoline. At the present system, he feels the can. Carts it over to the dump tank or the dump station and dumps it, goes back, he goes back and forth. In the slush, the snow sometimes, not usually, but traffic in and out, and it's quite a chore. The truck he would like to get is actually just a regular pickup truck with this self-contained unit that he can do all the pumps. It will hold all the 5-gallon samples, and then he goes and dumps that all at once. So he's not running back and forth, he's not carrying his cans or wheeling
3
around on
pounds
this
each,
down.
and you're
Yeah.
hauling them some long distance sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it can be. So he'd like a different unit. In the meantime, though, we have that truck that he now uses that we think would make a perfect truck for the maintenance man. And it needs a little sprucing up. It's only got 27,000 miles on it. It's two-wheel drive. But it needs a little sprucing up on the box again. It's been repainted once, but it still needs a little attention. But it's really in good shape other than a few little spots. So the idea is to use that for the maintenance man and then buy another two-wheel drive regular standard pickup truck, probably a half-ton, 8-foot bed standard cab, which probably can get at a pretty decent price.
Cheapest way to go is an 8-foot bed standard cab.
Yeah.
And they're
So
out there.
that's where we're kind of at with that. I don't know if we need a motion to proceed with that or just a consensus. What do you think?
I think you just need a consensus. I mean, it's probably going to,
We need to get some quotes.
yeah, so once you get quotes and stuff, then I think we would do something further, then
Yeah.
that way we would know on the council
I'm on
side.
board with that.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea to repurpose that vehicle for maintenance. And then,
I mentioned that during budget work a couple weeks ago, so council is aware that that was
Gotcha.
a thought of
Yeah.
using that, and they did agree that that would be perfect for the maintenance, because all the little,
Okay.
two-wheel drive will be less maintenance since he can pick and choose his days in the, it's not like highway where he has to be there on
Yeah,
a Monday.
yeah.
He has a time frame to look at all these scales and pumps, and
Yeah.
he just has to do them within a certain time frame. So if you get a snowy day, that's a foot of snow on the ground,
Yeah, I
waits
can't
it,
see
then
him.
plows it, and then go the next day.
I
you know?
can't see him going out on snowy
No,
days.
it's no, he's not gonna work it,
Get
you
too
slip
many.
and fall, you know, so I think it's a great idea.
Okay, all righty. Then we'll move ahead with that, Todd, see if you can find us a truck and,
And I'll look and see what the market is, and then also I'll look at new, and there's some possibility of getting a discount new, although I'm not sure you can get a new truck right now. I'm serious,
yeah, you may not.
but some of the deals we get on new, it might be the better way to go, but I'll look at the market, because there are a ton, that's a funny term to say about truck, but there's a lot of 8-foot bed trucks out there, because a lot of people overbought in 21 and 22 and now 23.
Now they all show up.
Well, they're starting to lay off those departments now, and I've been able to buy some box trucks recently that had, Amazon bought 21,000 box trucks, all from one dealer here in Indiana, when you like that account. And they didn't use any of them. They're all at the auctions with 100 miles on them, 80 miles. They were 70,000 and they're kicking them off for $45,000. So that kind of stuff is starting, this oversupply now is starting to, in certain departments, there's still shortages on a lot of things, but there's certain segments of the, say, industry out there that are really starting to cut and they're getting rid of that kind of stuff. So it might be an opportunity to get one, possibly. So we'll look into it.
Okay. What else, Susan?
No, I have nothing else.
Okay.
Got the
Anybody,
sense-
anything else?
While he's looking, Momper insulation on the,
Wait for the,
county farm, Sunny Meadows. So I would,
I'm gonna pay it. I'll pay it through my bookkeeping part.
I know, but do we need to approve it? We don't need to
You can approve it. I mean, everybody knows what it's for. You can approve it like when my monthly
Okay,
thing
we'll
comes.
just approve the
You
claim
can approve it
then.
as that.
Okay.
I'll pay it through
all right.
Jody and I versus the other,
That's fine.
so that
Great.
it gets done.
All right. I'm gonna send that proposal with you back then, that way.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Andrew, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just
No.
looking.
Maybe just to hit the issue of the letter. I don't know if you want to discuss that for a minute, the letter you'd received appointing you as somebody's controlling power, a fiduciary there, something like that. At this point, I know I've talked about it with you, but basically the thought I have is just don't respond. They sent a second letter now, but I could respond and say he refuses, but then I don't know what they would do with that because I don't agree with their legal theory.
What's happened, to bring you up to date on
heard.
that, since I didn't respond to the first letter, they just went ahead and appointed me.
Great.
But they sent a form it's for an IRS fiduciary form, and it's a blank that he didn't, they didn't sign his name to it or anything, so it's a form with their name signed on it appointing him, but he didn't sign agreeing to it, so.
Tell them when you,
you have to accept the appointment.
I would think you have to accept
before it's
it,
legally
yes.
binding.
Right, that's what I would say. But I also know that sometimes people that think in certain directions will come up with theories and try to sue anyway or something, but at this point.
tell him to give you power of attorney over his life and you'll do that.
Do we have a motion and
Over his
second?
over his bank account, if he's got one.
That's what I'm saying, over his life, yeah.
So I guess my thought is, unless
Ignore it.
you instruct me to, I'm just gonna let it set.
I'd ignore that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Me personally, but is there there's no legal,
I don't think there is. The form is unsigned. He's never signed it. He's never agreed or accepted to it. They use an acceptor notary down in Florida to be a communication channel. I looked it up. That you can use a notary to try to prove that you sent something. Instead of a certified mail, you use a notary to send it, and then they can notarize that they sent it. But it still doesn't mean there's any agreement to it. I don't think it changes the agreement.
Certified mail, why
The
not?
certified mail would work too, but there's an acceptor notary process that's out there too. That
Sounds
is
like
an
they got a-
independent third person to agree that they sent it.
Sounds like they got a lot of money to spend.
I don't know.
Using
I don't know how much it costs or
Notaries
not.
out
but-
of state, that's pretty cool.
So, at this point, I guess I would lean towards the just ignoring it until something else would happen.
I agree.
Okay,
Okay?
okay. Anything else? Let's go to the Corona property. What can we do with that property to get that over to
Well, I
town
was
of Corona?
trying to look that up, but the number you gave me is not coming up for me.
Not coming up.
So let me go a different way
I
here.
got to pick.
You know what road it's on?
Bridge Street. Got an address. 105 South Bridge Street.
city's that in? Oh, that's Corona, yeah. That's the liquor store, right? Or it was the liquor store, or was it a bar?
It was a bar. It was a bar.
Well, it's, it's on tax sale. So they can either purchase it from tax sale. However, they have added a lot of liens, like over 32,000 worth of liens,
Who's added the
town.
liens?
Corona has.
the Corona.
Oh, so it'd be their liens.
So they either, I mean, at tax sale, it's gonna be offered for $39,166 because of all their liens.
Is this the first year on tax sale?
No, it's been on tax sale for a long time. And they just keep adding and adding and adding. So, I'll have to look. I know that you guys can assign it to them. I'm not sure if it's when it's already in the next process of tax sale, if we have to wait for this tax sale to be done and then do it at the commissioner's sale. I would need to
Would
ask.
commissioner's sale wipe out their liens? I would think that would be the way to handle it.
They can wipe their own liens out.
Well, they can,
I
but
mean,
they'd
they
have to do
can-
it, they'd have to do it before the sale, though.
Right,
But they'd just get the money back anyway,
if they pay it.
if they pay it. But they'd pay it and get it right back as well.
Right.
So, right? They would get the money.
Yeah.
So it's a net,
Yes, they
it's a
would.
net wash
They would
for
get
them.
they would get the money at settlement. I mean,
At
like, I
settlement.
couldn't turn around and write them a
Oh,
check
yeah.
the next day,
No,
but
no, no.
yes.
Yeah.
They would get it back at settlement.
No
because
one's gonna
that's how
buy
it
that
is.
property with 30-some thousand dollars worth of liens, and I think that makes it easier to go to commissioner's court. But then, if that wipes out all liens, there might be buyers there to compete with them, just so you know.
Right,
Where- Tax sale, they wouldn't have, in my opinion, my advice financially, although I'm not a financial, but just from looking at it, you know, common sense would be, hey, you have the liens, go ahead and buy it, pay yourself back, you get it with no competition really, because you're the only one, you have the advantage as the lien holder. No one else is gonna bid.
because the next sale, they
Wipes
could
their-
have.
Yeah, it wipes their liens out then, so they're gonna get nothing anyway out of that sale.
But they'd have to put forward 40,000 or 39,000
Yeah.
or whatever in cash. But
Right.
if they had that in their accounts, that would be the good way
Yeah.
to outdo that.
Yeah, that'd be my advice, is to have them just bid it at a tax sale.
When is that next tax sale?
October 11th, I believe.
Unless there's something that says you can't do that, but I don't know why they couldn't bid on
It's
it.
October 11th, and it will be online only,
Oh, so
doing
fairly
it.
soon.
online sale.
Oh, there's gonna be no one bidding against, that's what I'd tell them to do. Can they come up with the 39,000, I
I have
assume?
no idea if they can or not.
The only other thing that they could do to be able to purchase it right at tax sales, if they release their own liens,
Yeah.
then we take them off, so then whatever all this equates to after their liens come off would be what the lowest bid would start at, and they could buy it that way.
The problem is, then they might get competition and go
Correct.
against their own thoughts of, hey, we wanna clean this up, because they could get a
Correct.
slumlord type person in there making, you know.
A hard time imagining that's going to be a hot property for
No.
anybody.
No, I know,
It's
I
about
just.
It's in really bad shape.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, and they found someone to tear it down pro bono, right, Bill? Someone's willing to tear it down?
That's what he tells me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's what they tell me. They've got a volunteer to tear it down, they've got the equipment, tear it down, all right. It's a lot of cement block.
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Several loads probably, but,
I will check with SRI today and find out if
Yeah.
if you can assign it currently, since it's been through many, and just have it removed from the tax sale. I'll find out that way.
Yeah, that'd be,
Either way, they need to pay to release their liens.
Yeah.
I won't just like
Right.
Commissioner Sale, I can do it, but I won't just take, they put them on, they need to pay to record to have them taken off.
39,166, right?
Well, it's multiple liens, so I'd have to bring them all up.
Oh,
Yeah, so whatever liens they have on it that they don't want to pay, they would have to remove.
I will pass that message on.
Okay.
I have something real quick. I've had multiple people, since we're on this category, interested in properties in Butler. Susan, it's 207 and 209 South Broadway. 207 and 209 South Broadway, and then also 108 East Oak, Butler. I didn't know where they're at in those properties in the... One of them's the building downtown that the deer jumped through the window, and it's a place out of Florida that owns it that isn't responsive, and some private entity people that want to kind of they want to try to do in Butler what we have done in Auburn here, and they're already doing a good job, and not the city that wants it. These are private individuals that would like to buy it. They just want to know what the status is. Okay. Yeah, when you get a chance. Yeah, that's 207 and 209 South Broadway, and then 108 East Oak. Oak. Get these properties back on the tax roll with some new buildings on them or renovated.
At least we were tore down, cleaned up at least.
You can throw liens on them every year and no one buy them, and they just,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Or we can start, if we can help, that'd be great.
What else you got? That it?
I have nothing.
Wow. Well,
I mean, I have a lot, but nothing for you guys.
I guess we just go ahead and take our break and pledge, and
Okay.
we'll be back afterwards with the next item on the agenda. Oh, my.
Yes, thank you. You have a great day. Good meeting you. Good luck. Yeah. Hey. Oh, yeah. Thank you. How you doing today?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Trying to wrap up budget, so. Hopefully by the end of the.
Back in the tax roll. Yeah. Oh. I'm not sure he's even interested in. Gave some to the city. Those were ones that already went. Visions out there.
And then there's like 7,000 things. Listen, man, just to kind of get a vastly different across the state with Wednesday meetings. I used to be, I worked it over and then we've got
I needed everybody to sign. They were here. Yeah. You know, very good at figuring this out. But it's oh, you're kidding. They've done a great job for Waterloo, the town of Waterloo.
Bread, butter, cinnamon, that's all we did. So my family is going.
Right, exactly.
Supposed to mimic somebody. First, about 6 months ago. What do you think happened? I get up there, and of course I just barely roll my, just barely. Oh my God, that thing hurt.
Yes,
I didn't break anything either. It was just
I
like a strain, and
know.
I was like, come on.
I know. I still like to think I'm in my 20s.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went. load the truck up and.
With the truck. I get it, but it's.
Nine. Mine, uncle lives in Germany. That's in German and 4 years in high school. There you go. He lives in Germany, and I was just telling her, never been over there or anything, but he's gonna meet us in Europe, in Paris, supposedly in June.
Should be fun.
Supposedly. I don't know how I feel about that.
Europe is, I went in high school over in
Yeah.
Germany because it's cheaper to go in high school. My Uncle Dean paid for my part of the trip. My parents came over. It's just something really cool about being over there. Those old buildings and I mean, it was Germany, Switzerland, Austria, just like.
Have a good one. Yeah. It's down to 98. Let's see what it is next week.
Oh, it'll be high. It'll be high.
Yeah.
198. Yeah. They need to just start having court set up right now. Just do rocket docket court.
Rocket docket.
Okay,
Saturday court, or night court.
we are back, and we will proceed with the Economic Development Agreement, Road Use and Decommissioning Agreement, exhibits for Scopen Solar, Resolution 2023-R-17. What do we got, Chris? Are you up on this, or? Where do we start?
So I sent the everything in one big packet. So the resolution part is approving all of it in one document.
It's all three.
But as for questions about it, I can't help you.
Okay.
I think it's officially being filed by
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and I can say a few words if that's helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Sarah Massara with EDF Renewables. It's on.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't changing.
You're just quiet.
That's why
Okay.
I wasn't.
There we go. Sarah Massara with EDF Renewables and Sculpin Solar. I'm the project developer for the Sculpin project. I know you all certainly in this room know my face and name at this point. Folks in the audience do as well. But just for the sake of the recording, just a few words. I just wanted to lead by saying thank you. Thank you to the commissioners as well as Attorney Andrew here for engaging with us on these negotiations. As required by the UDO, as required by our permitting ordinance. It's been collaborative, it's been productive, and we're excited to be at this stage, to be able to bring these framework agreements up, take the perfunctory first step in getting us along our way to a complete and full application for our solar facility. So thank you. And I'm happy to answer any specific questions you have about the agreements themselves, but to Andrew's point, yes, we're here today to ask you all to approve the economic development agreement, which contains as exhibits the form of the road use agreement, the form of the decommissioning agreement. And those two agreements will be executed at a later time, closer in coordination with the Plan Commission. So that's the request. That's what we're bringing forward. Again, I'm happy to go into details on the specifics as you'd like.
questions, comments?
I don't have any.
Yeah, I think the EDA is fine, and we'll get a shot at the specifics of the road use and decommissioning when those are drafted, so that'll be a second round of approval on those two, so.
Okay.
And maybe just for benefit of those watching on the live stream, just I would like to highlight that the economic development agreement is pretty unique in that, as you all well know, the county council declined to move forward with our application for tax abatement. Typically, an economic development agreement would be paired with tax abatement and some economic development payments, right, sort of in lieu. We don't have tax abatement for this project, so we're moving forward, paying the full amount of taxes for the facility. And then in addition to that, we are still offering economic development payments. Of course, this is a public document, public can see it, in the amount of $1 million over the first 10 years. So I just want to highlight that. And again, thank the county for being collaborative in those negotiations. So, thank you.
I do have a question about in the road agreement. I seem to recall a conversation about the roads within the project and the roads that would be used, shipping to and from the
Yes.
project, that those would be asphalt resurfaced after the project's complete.
Yeah, so the way that the road use agreement is drafted is that it's a list of designated roads, right? So it's not just the roads within the project site, but to your point, Commissioner, it's also the roads, right, used along the delivery routes. And so how the road use agreement functions is that prior to mobilizing to the site, prior to construction, we're contractually required to to take a video survey to capture the condition of all of those roads, point A, point B, and then within the project. And then, yes, there is language in there around, after construction is complete, we do have to resurface any roads that we have damaged. So that's the qualifier. It's resurfacing and repairing it,
Resurfacing.
anything that's damaged.
Not converting.
That's correct.
Conversion would be going from gravel to hard surface,
Correct. So this would be resurfacing, to my understanding.
only resurfacing. Okay.
In other words, if it's a dirt road, it will stay a dirt road, but if they destroy it, they
Right.
have to bring it up to the grade of road that it was.
Correct. Thanks, Andrew.
We don't have any dirt roads. We have gravel roads.
All right, I call them dirt roads, I got, when-
You're gonna get Ben
When I
in
grew
here
up,
on
so-
fire, his hair on fire on his day off.
Okay. They're not dirt, it's gravel, all right. I can change that for Ben.
I'm just kidding.
Great. Any other questions for me?
I guess not.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Chris?
I want to apologize first to Andrew. He sent me this a month ago, and it got messed up in some Board of Zoning Appeals emails that I just totally did not review this. And I emailed Andrew a list of my comments that I have as far as just Exhibit B goes with the decommissioning plan. I understand that it's coming before the development plan gets submitted, which there's nothing in here as far as the cost of anything. So that'll come after that development plan would get submitted, should the overlay get approved by the county commissioners. But Andrew, and I can speak to, he did send this on to the attorneys that were working on this, but I just have a couple concerns as far as what's in here and I can just go through those concerns with you, or if you guys are fine with how it is, I'm fine with that too. On page 1, it talks about what the project facilities are defined as. And it says, but not to be limited to, so I understand there's kind of a caveat there as to what that can all include. But I think it should also include the landscaping, any internal roads or driveway locations. I just don't want to forget that these things are part of the project, that, you know, any buffers that don't, and also I want to preface by saying that they could have agreements with the property owners to keep the internal drives, to keep the landscaping buffers there and things like that. But if they don't agree to that, I want to protect the county 30 years, 40 years down the road when this needs to get decommissioned. And they're like, well, we're not going to take that out at the internal drives because it doesn't say that. It doesn't say we need to take out the driveway locations. They're going to be adding a number of driveway locations onto our county roads that are going to require culverts. Do those get removed? I know, again, it's up to the county or to the property owners if those stay or not, but I have some concerns as to just tightening it up a little bit. On page 2, these do reference that it's in line with our UDO. I just would like to see the UDO mentioned, that the section 3.13 FB7, or sorry, F7B be highlighted as part of that first paragraph.
Which section is that? I'm sorry.
I'm on page 2 of Exhibit B.
Okay.
The upper paragraph, the last, the decommissioning shall include the obligations under the plan. It's kind of in the middle. That last number 5, use reasonable efforts to restore the property to condition reasonably similar to its original condition as it existed before the start of construction. I think we should try to reference what our UDO section is that these are coming from. I think, again, it would just help clarify. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, but when it says it comes back to original, I guess I took that as being, if there's a drive, you have to remove the drive because the original is just bare farm ground.
Unless that drive, the property owner,
Right.
because it's in here, the property owner has the ability to say that they want to keep the internal drive.
Right.
But if it's not, again, I just think we need to reference our UDO sections. It helps, I think it would help clarify things, that's all. And again, it's in there and it's good, I just think it helps to clarify. And I guess a question for Andrew, is a performance bond the same as a surety bond? Because when we were working on this with Jim McCanna, we took out the performance bond and required a surety bond.
Same thing, I believe.
I'll see if I can.
In our UDO, we
that
reference
out.
it as a surety bond and not a performance bond. That was removed, again, by the county commissioners at this last revision. And I don't remember the reason why we removed performance bond versus surety, but we did.
Just to be specific. But
Well, again, I think we need to be in step with what the UDO requires, and the UDO requires a surety bond. Again, I don't know what the difference is, but
I don't have a problem with changing that term if that.
because on page 3, under section 1.3, it calls out the performance or surety bond.
From
just-
what I can quickly Google here, it says a surety bond, performance bonds are just one type of surety bonds. And I mean, and Sarah might be able to speak more to that too, but.
well, there's
Then
like
I think that, again,
there's
I don't
maintenance
want to go
bond
back
in
and revisit the UDO, but I think that we should be in step with what the UDO requires. That's all.
The language should
Mirror
mesh
each
so
other.
that
Yeah, just so
aren't
there's not any,
confused.
again, and I don't want to cause any headaches, but I'm here, I guess, to cause some. Also under 1.3, the second paragraph, it calls out the net removal cost. I don't know what net removal cost is. It's not defined anywhere in here. So I want to make sure that we're understanding that the net removal cost would be what Sculpin's third-party engineering firm or decommissioning firm anticipates that net decommissioning cost being. I'll say this on public record, I guess, and Andrew, if I am overstepping, look at me and I'll stop talking, but when a previous solar developer was looking at coming here and we were looking at the decommissioning bond, or the decommissioning agreement, we wanted to make sure that if the solar panels couldn't be, because they had in their recycling profit that the county would be getting, an anticipated recycling profit, if we weren't able to recycle those, I wanted to make sure that we had the full money able to decommission this project. So I am going to request that it's the gross removal cost, not the net removal cost.
I thought our UDO I thought we had that discussion when the UDO when it was passed, that it needed to be the gross and not the net.
Doesn't state it in there. It was our discussion that we had.
Right. But you're thinking it didn't get put in the UDO directly on that
think
one
so.
or the other? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was just going to ask, Chris, if you could pull that up. I believe that the UDO, does lay out what the net removal costs are. And so it does have in there, minus any applicable salvage costs. And then if you look on page 2, so Exhibit B2, it does define the removal cost. But then I don't disagree with you that the language in the next section around net removal isn't further defined, so it can be confusing. So tell us what you want, we'll do it.
What we state in the UDO is that the decommissioning plan shall include the recycling of as much solar panels and other equipment as reasonably possible.
Yep.
But again, I want to make sure that if they can't be recycled or only a portion of them can be recycled, and they've taken into account that a larger portion can be recycled, that our decommissioning bond is to what we need it for.
Yeah.
That the county's not going to be on the hook for any additional costs.
I'll add just one more point, Chris, and then I'll step back. I don't want to overstep your time here. I think I entirely agree with you. I think that's absolutely fair. But I also think that's partially why the county in your Unified Development Ordinance has that we have to reevaluate by, a professional licensed engineer every 5 years to sort of capture that over time. How do the expectations around recycling? How is, what does that look like? So I'll add that for what it's worth. Yeah, thank you.
And it states it in here too, that's there. When I see net, it made me nervous. Just like I prefer my gross paycheck versus my net paycheck.
Again, more headaches.
I agree. Yeah, more headaches. There you go. Also under 1.5, it's not the DeKalb County Solar Ordinance. It actually is the DeKalb County Unified Development Ordinance with the CSES overlay. We don't have a separate solar ordinance. So I just want to be clear that there's not a separate standalone ordinance out there. Just something to be careful of with that. Sorry.
Point.
On page 7, and this is just clerical, I'd like the Plan Commission to be copied on this agreement, just so we can make sure we have a copy. I'm sure we will get one, but just that the Plan Commission can get copied on that. And I think that was it. And the only other question I had, and I know, and I'm probably overstepping my bounds here, but that I know I had talked to Andrew and he said Ben Parker has reviewed and approved this. I wanted to see if the county surveyor had a chance to take a look at this and review it, because it does discuss the drain location maps and those sort of things. Mm-hmm. In here, it discusses that the drain location map on section 1.3, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that our drain location map isn't 100% accurate. And in this agreement, they're using our data for those locations of those drains. Unless it states it somewhere else, and Sarah can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's any surveying that Sculpin would be doing to make sure that the drain locations are accurate.
You have a comment, sir?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. So the reason we, the intent, at least in that language around using county provided data, is just to have some baseline, and further that baseline is the county's controlled baseline and not just relying, oh, this is what we're telling you. That said, I certainly understand, Chris, your point around those drain location maps that the county has may not be entirely accurate. So the second, I heard a question in there is, do we do our own survey? Yes, extensive. So if it provides further comfort to have language in there around, combination of this plus our own survey, I'm happy to consider that. But that was the original intent, was to give you all control over what the baseline is with your own data, but certainly open to feedback.
And I think that makes more sense than what's stated in the agreement. Again, I just want to make as Andrew can attest as an attorney, I'm sure that the agreement is what they'll go by. Not that I'm thinking they're not going to. And not that the drainage board is going to have a lot of
I was going to
say with this as well.
They'll have some say in this too, right, when the whole project gets delineated.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my last concern was giving Ben Parker only 10 business days to review any of those road reports. And if he doesn't get back with them within 10 days, it's automatically agreed upon by the county. I just know how busy Ben is. And 10 days doesn't seem like enough time, especially when we're giving Sculpin ample time to let us know if there would be some sort of act of God event, that they have a year plus 18 months at the earliest to let the county know that they can bring the project back to full energy capacity. That's all. I want to give the county enough time to review any type of reports, and I don't believe 10 days is enough. Now, I'm not Ben Parker, but I know that for me, 10 days is not enough to review a report.
Didn't we talk to Ben about that, and he thought he could put that on the speed check and make sure it was okay? I was pretty sure.
I know I discussed it with him at some point, and I mean, it's been long enough ago, I can't remember what exactly he said, but I remember we had that discussion.
Was that business days?
It is.
Business
So
days.
it's 2 weeks.
So I guess my question is, since we've gone back and forth and arrived at a final draft language, if we make these changes, then we can't approve it today. That's going to have to go back to Rick, back to Mary, come back to us with these changes approved.
I mean, I think it depends. If they're just a couple of small changes, you might be able to
Just do it
approve it
administratively.
with the changes.
Yeah.
It depends, I mean, but you can't change it to $2 million EDA. I mean, that's already been discussed, obviously, but
that's
if you're
where
just
I was
going to
going with
change,
that.
I mean, if Sarah's agreeing to that, they're fine with amending it in a couple of spots to clarify a few things, I think you could pass it with those clarifications.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I think that would be my 2 cents is, if you all are comfortable approving it as is today with the caveat that we'll enter into an amendment, within 30 days or something like that to capture whatever guidelines you all want to put around that, maybe that's a path forward, but certainly I'm open to whatever process you all want to follow. All of Chris's comments here, are reasonable. Of course, I'll have my attorney give a final, look over any changes in language, but from what I've heard, all of the suggestions make sense to me, and we'd be happy to do that.
Chris proposed is reasonable and clarifies, it's clarifying language,
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
Same.
I think we can do that. I think we could approve this with the
with those.
With the clarification verbiage.
Nothing in there you can't live with then?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The last thing I
I'm
had,
good.
I was looking at my email to Andrew, and I knew I was missing something, so I went to look. That there's nothing in here, I don't believe again, that states who approves that attachment A of the actual
sure.
decommissioning
Of,
agreement.
So the,
And I know it will come during the development plan,
Yes.
but I
Right.
think it would help to put in here something that's, it's approved at the plan commission
yeah, I'm
level or
happy with
whatever.
that
Okay.
clarification. That's my understanding is that through the development plan, that's when attachment A, prior to execution, that's when attachment A would be
Right,
approved.
yeah.
And, surety amount finalized. Again, the intent with these documents is to approve the form of the contract itself. But a
But this won't,
clarification
but this
is-
document won't be changing once it's approved.
Right, just
Just
the
the
exhibits
exhibits
and filling in
within
any,
there.
filling the
Yeah.
date, filling the blank. So yeah, if you want to make that clarification, happy with that too. Makes sense?
Yeah, I just think it
Yeah,
would make
let's-
sense to add something in there, because I'd hate for that
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
attachment A, not that it would, but to get approved in there without any type of review.
My maybe only request on that, I'm just thinking through while we're clarifying things, would just to have some time-bound element.
Somewhat, I'm sorry.
Some time-bound element, attachment A to be reviewed and approved, however
Well, it would
much
have-
time you guys want to
Yeah,
take
well, it would have
as
to be-
part of the development plan. I
The
don't
plan
know.
commission would have to approve that decommissioning as part of
Yeah,
their,
as part
so
of the
that's when it would get
development plan.
approved,
Okay,
yeah.
got it. That
yeah.
makes sense.
So it'd be approved at the time the development plan gets approved.
Gotcha.
Yep. I agree
Okay.
with that, Chris.
Well, I think
Again, I apologize.
If
When are you starting your legal practice?
Chris is pretty good.
I would love to be a lawyer. I watch Suits all the time, but
Hey, you're qualified already. You watch Suits. You're in.
but I don't want Andrew's job.
Kinda-
Like,
kinda-
not this job, but just an attorney in general.
you do kind of
is a
resemble
headache.
Harvey a little bit.
Yeah, this gives me a little bit of that fun, but that's all I'm doing. You get to keep me, Todd.
Okay. Darn it.
And again, I apologize for not reviewing this
No,
prior
no,
to.
no
It
apologies
just got
needed.
lost in emails, and I was like, "What's this thing coming up?"
Yeah, we
I think-
appreciate the attention to detail.
I think I would be most comfortable if we had some specific suggested language that we wanted to make those changes.
I'd be happy to forward this email.
Yeah, I don't want to leave any ambiguous
Right.
stuff in this if we're going to approve it today, because it'll come back and bite us.
Right.
So, I'd like to have specific language that we want to substitute or
Right.
change.
Maybe Chris could propose it, then I could get it
Yeah.
to Rick and to Sarah and Mary.
Okay, that email that I sent you is everything
you
that
would
I
be saying?
discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can remove the stuff about,
Okay.
because since you've already discussed with Ben Parker his timeline on looking at any of those reports, but the other
So
stuff
just
in
forward
there-
your email.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
just say it doesn't have, so the Ben Parker thing is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will do that. I'll get that forwarded.
And then bring it back for next week or as soon as we get it?
Yeah,
That's
Is
what
that-
I would recommend.
Okay.
yeah.
I just don't want to approve something that's
No,
kind of up in the
I
air.
think that's smart.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking next week anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Get those changes made and get
Yeah.
that approved.
Does that throw off the timing on the plan commission overlay deal? No. Chris says
No,
no.
it should be good
so-
for,
Okay.
No, this won't even be part of, this is something totally separate from
Totally
the plan
separate from that
commission. This is
process.
just an agreement between the county and the county commissioners and Sculpin. This
Okay, I
isn't
just
anything
wanted to
with
ask that
Yep.
clarification question. All right.
okay. Anything else on that? A wrap, huh?
I think so.
You know what? That's the end of our schedule, meeting schedule. Anything else? Anyone? Last call?
Anyone else? Last call. We're asking. Last call.
Let's speak now for.
I want to see you pop out of your chair all crazy.
Okay, then we stand adjourned.
Right.
the end.
Last call for alcohol.
Last call for alcohol.
I probably should do it. Yeah.
What's going on? No Scooby-Doo,
Hi.
no Girl Scout today?
I'm all baseball.
All baseball?